We're swimming in such a sea of management we don't even realize it's everywhere. We work for someone, they work for someone, maybe someone works for us. We get tasks, we assign tasks, we go to meetings, we report status. Management is everywhere and we hardly realize it. But when was the last time you came home from work, sat down at the dinner table and said, I saw leadership today. I saw someone actually be a leader. It's so rare we might not even recognize it. Management is everywhere while leadership is all too often nowhere. But with all this management, organizations and projects still miss their goals. We have performance issues every day of the week. But guess what? Your organization's management issues are your opportunities for leadership success. So how do you exploit this idea of leadership, both for your career benefit and for the productivity of your organization? You start by recognizing the difference between management and leadership, the traits and skills that characterize both, and start applying the latter. Obviously easier said than done. But one thing that would help would be a mechanism that allows us to quickly bring forth these leadership concepts. Because these leadership opportunities don't wait for you. You don't want to be in the position of driving home from work and saying, I wish I had said that at this meeting today. I wish I had done X instead of Y. So we're going to convey a visual image of this leadership concept through the image of a lever. We're going to go through a Prezi, which is a way of presenting material without PowerPoint slides. We're going to go through it quickly, and at the end, however, there'll be a URL that'll allow you to go to this presentation and look at it more slowly at your leisure. So let's start off with the leadership lever, and Archimedes, give me a lever long enough and I can move the world. Here's Archimedes moving the world from an engraving from 1824. Our world is a world of organizations and projects, and our lever is the application of management and leadership. So that's what our lever looks like: leadership, management, and the world. A quick backstory: as I've mentioned, management alone is not enough for your organization's success or your success. As I said, management is everywhere, while leadership is all too often nowhere. How do you bring leadership forth? Through this visual impact of Archimedes' lever. But let's look at the multiplying effects of management along our level. But I'll tell you, don't get your hopes up. First, we have process. Every organization and project relies on process. It's the element from a management perspective, that has the most effect on people's behavior. After that, we have the monitor and control mechanism. Every project management philosophy relies on this function. It allows a manager to know where tasks stand relative to their expected completion. We also have the organizational reward system, also known as the carrot and stick. Team members that follow the organization's principles are rewarded. Those that don't get the stick. And finally, we have company values. The last element on the management lever. It's designed to guide team members towards behaviors deemed essential for the organization or project success. But guess what? When you're in the trenches, company values can get questioned. Maximizing shareholder value isn't as inspiring as you might think it would be when you're in a test berth on a Sunday afternoon trying to get software deliveries to be completed. Sometimes the carrot and stick can have unintended consequences. Force ranking all the employees to implement pay performance sounds good, but then you have 50% of the people that have been told they're below average. Unintended consequences that the project manager has to live with. Sometimes the monitor and control function has not been optimized. It has a cost associated with it, and a status meeting at 4:30, one at 8:30 maybe, every day at lunch. That can happen on projects that get in trouble. On the flip side, you can't get people to give you decent status. This function of management has a cost. It's rarely optimized for the particular project manager. And sometimes we have the wrong process. Bidding something that's fixed price when it should have been cost plus is a recipe for disaster for that project manager and his or her team. But we're dedicated people. We look at things through the management prism, and we might think the answer is sweeter carrots and sharper sticks. But that is not the answer. The answer is leadership, So project managers, people that run organizations, have to be leaders. So let's talk about the leadership element of this lever, as opposed to the management. And again, this picture conveys that leadership has the larger leverage. On any project, someone eventually steps up to be the leader. Why not you? We're showing the leader willing to stand up and be noticed, being on a box. The box is red. Napoleon wore red because he didn't want people, as people in battle, to see that he might have been shot and was bleeding. You're going to get arrows shot at you if you stand up to be the leader. But it's the only way that programs that get in trouble get turned around. Someone being a leader. So what's this leadership all about? It's about four things: your vision, your values, your ability to handle mistakes, your ability to communicate. Let's look at that first one. Vision, right at the top of the lever. The most impact that a leadership skill or trait can have, I believe. It's the largest component. Relates to followers' actions to an achievable future state in which they see benefit for themselves and the ones they care about. It's often underestimated by aspiring leaders. They assume that everyone understands the vision that they have in their head, and nothing could be further from the truth. People that work for you are not mind readers. In addition to allowing followers to see the benefit of their action, a clear vision eliminates all the noise that are in the communication channels within any organization or within any project. An effective way to state that vision is the 5 W's: who, what, when, where, and why. Sounds very basic, but guess what? Look at the most important speeches over the last 150 years. Look at Lincoln's vision from the Gettysburg Address. Who, our forefathers, brave men, us. Who can forget the when, 77 years ago? Why? Government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from this earth. Churchill at the start of World War II, the British Empire, monstrous tyranny, many, many long months, by sea, by land, by air. Why? Without victory, there is no survival. Martin Luther King, who, black, white, vicious racists, his 4 little children. Where? The hilltops of New Hampshire to every molehill in Mississippi. Why? That one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men are created equal. Note well, King did not say, I have a plan. He said, I have a dream. The vision is essential for a successful project. Now, we want to get down to earth. We don't generally run things on the par of the Civil War, World War II, or the Civil Rights Movement, but the mechanism of aligning people's actions and behaviors remains the same. A clear, declarative paragraph setting out the leader's vision. Who must be enlisted to support this future state? What must transpire? What's the timing? Where will this state exist in terms of geography or organization or information? Most importantly, what people want to know that are working for you: why have we undertaken this endeavor? The next element is values, your values. Recall a leader from the past who had a positive effect on you. I would assume, I bet you can identify this leader's values, whether it was teamwork, humility, family. I bet you would have a harder time articulating the values of the organization that you both worked for. You're going to be remembered 10 years hence. You're not going to be remembered for the organization values in which you operated. You're going to be remembered by your values. And guess what? Your values are more important than the company's. Don't forget it. I'll say that one more time. Your values as a leader are more important than the company's. People are going to rally around your approach to the way you handle your project, the way you handle mistakes, the way you express this vision, what you desire and demand out of your team. These are your values. They're more important than the company values, typically much more written by an ad agency than coming from the heart. One surefire value that would, is a surefire element of success of a project team: keep your promises. Handling mistakes. The management elements of this lever are going to have mistakes. There's no doubt about it. Processes are not perfect. Monitoring control has not been optimized. Unintended consequences of the carrot and stick. How are you going to handle mistakes? Here's one way to think about them. You think about them with your impact on your vision. If they have a very large impact on your vision, you're going to take corrective action or full immersion problem solving. depending on whether the mistakes are pervasive or isolated. If they're isolated, coaching might be the solution. If they're pervasive but not killing or impacting your vision, process improvement is the concept. This box up here, full immersion problem solving, is the most demanding situation. The response is going to require at times a new process, a new people, a new schedule, a new contract, and even at times a new statement of the vision. A leader's ability to engage the creative talents of the full team while negotiating new agreements with stakeholders, that's what leadership's all about when it hits the fan. And if you have that ability, you're going to succeed as a leader. Another element of the leadership lever is communication. It's aimed at influencing people. There are several strategies, from active listening to logic, network. The one that's the most important, articulated by people that study how to influence people the most effective way, is to use reciprocity. Do unto others. The concept of reciprocity is based on human beings' natural inclination to return favors. The most powerful statement someone can make when they are thanked for an effort over and above is not "don't mention it," or "it was nothing," but "you would have done the same thing for me." That's the way humans interact with one another. A smart leader in a room of 20 people sees 20 opportunities to help rather than 20 opportunities to be helped. If you want to be a leader, you need to develop the habit of going outside the confines and boundaries of your responsibility to help others in your organization. So in summary, if you want to be a leader, have you provided a compelling vision for the work at hand? Are your core values expressed, and have you grasped the values of others? Do you protect your vision from your mistakes and the mistakes of others? And are you communicating effectively and influencing stakeholders as required? Those are the elements of the leadership lever that distinguishes those characteristics from management. Some words to live by. Managers supervise, leaders are willing to improvise. Managers love documenting assumptions, leaders are willing to challenge assumptions. Managers support the culture, leaders are willing to build the culture. Managers negotiate, leaders collaborate. Managers are well versed in the processes that they're responsible for. They know all the details of what has to happen. However, the leader is well read. I've never worked for a leader that wasn't an avid reader. They're well read and they read widely to ensure that their vision makes sense in the broader context of the business, technical, social, political world in which they live. It's going to really develop the why of the leader's vision. It allows it to be fully vetted through the leader's ability to be well read in the area that this project or organization operates. Hiring is an element that management has taken. It's based on a history of legal litigation. However, when the leader's vision is jeopardized, they're willing to fire. Now, maybe that doesn't mean walking people out the door. It rarely does, but it does mean demanding, if you're the leader, having the right people on your team for your project within your organization. Change control, managers love that. Leaders like to be change agents. Make no mistakes, that's what managers are paid to do. Make no mistakes. However, leaders recognize mistakes will happen because they realize the deficiencies of the management lever, and they are willing to learn from mistakes. Managers do analysis, leaders are willing to take action to support the when of their 5W vision statement. There's my email. If anyone wants to write an email to discuss some of these concepts, or talk about a workshop, or looking at the Prezi that I just went through at your leisure, you can find that Prezi at that URL. Thank you.